So, recently I've been rewatching all the Star Wars films, so I thought for this week's Throwback to Old Games, I'd play something kind of Star Wars related. Now, ideally, I'd be playing the wireframe Star Wars game that was in the arcades and ported over, but instead, because that game didn't get ported to the ZX Spectrum until 1987, I'm going to go back to the game that we had to have in its place, a game called 3D Starstrike that was released by Real Time Games in 1985 for both the ZX Spectrum and the Amstrad. I remember playing this continuously back in the day because it was a pretty solid representation of the Star Wars game. So here we have it, latest episode. Let me test my hand and see how well I do on 3D Starstrike. So, as always, the first thing that I need to do is to check to see whether it's available in the library. So let me just get onto that. There we can see it. We've got 3D Starstrike and also the follow-up Starstrike 2, which I never got around to playing, but I'm not going to go on to that one because I want to revisit my memory and see whether it lives up to it. So let's get this loaded into memory. An Oliver Frey loading screen. People who liked Zap and Crash Magazine and who didn't will recognise that name. Colourful. Okay. Cover me. I'm going in. I'm going in for a run on the not quite Death Star. I'm going for easy because I'm a wuss. Straight away, straight into the mock TIE fighters firing their beams at me, and this is all quite fast. Interestingly, the joystick controls are working on the basis of... Oh, my laser's overheated, so I wasn't shooting very fast. The controls have up as down and down as up by default. This is how we proper gamers back in the past used to always have it in every game. All this reverse controls that we now have to set as our defaults, that was the standard up until just after the turn of this century. I still remember the first Time Splitters game had up as down and down as up. So regardless what your argument is as to what you prefer, it is just what you prefer. There is no right or wrong way. Okay, I'm taking out the turrets on the surface of the mock Death Star. So far so good. No deaths yet, not being hit by any of those strange splodges that represent enemy fire. Okay, and now here we go for the actual trench run. It's a very, very faithful representation of the arcade game that it's not been licensed for, which happened a lot in the early days of computing, that things would blatantly take concepts, take ideas, take whole game structure and design and make their own version, just call it something different, maybe add in one or two slight changes just to be able to get away with saying, oh no, it's just inspired by. So as you can see, I'm shooting the turrets at the side whilst also avoiding all things. Now I've got to shoot the enemy bird. Okay, got it. Reactor pods destroyed. Escape sequence initiated. And the Dark Moon, or it's not quite a Death Star, has been destroyed. And so we hyperspace on to the sequel. Another one. The game will get progressively harder and harder as the levels go on. But so far, I'm proving to be actually surprisingly good at this. Like I say, I played this almost constantly when I had my ZX Spectrum. So the control mechanism still feels as natural now as it did back then. Ah, now we get the tower tops, which you can go for the bonus by shooting 15 tops. I love vector graphics. I'm not that fussed. Oh, bit of a crash. With realistic detail on graphics, so long as the gameplay is there. And so vector graphics enable you to keep it simplified, use up low memory, whilst immersing the player within enough of an environment to get along. And even today, I mean, even when you look at games like Superhot, which isn't photorealistic graphics, but it's probably the best Matrix simulation that you'll ever get on a home system, especially if you play the VR version. Ooh. Speaking of which, new update to Superhot got added this week. That's going on my agenda for this evening. But we digress. In the meantime, got another trench run, and there's a lot more things to avoid this time round. Oh, yeah, so splat straight through two of them. Ooh. Not doing good here. Reactor pods destroyed. Number 2. Down. The only thing that I really do miss compared to the arcade version of the official Star Wars game, the controller on the arcade system was such a perfect design. It proper immersed you within a TIE fighter stroke X-Wing. Why am I saying TIE fighter? It's not, you're battling the TIE fighters. We're the good guys. And I also miss the rather dubious digitised sound of Alec Guinness doing his "use the force, look." And as you approach the Death Star, it's like, look at the size of that thing. And not forgetting the famous, "let's blow this thing and go home." Oh. Initiating attack run on the towers. I am rapidly losing shield. As this is getting quite frantic now. Now, having also played the 1987 official port of the Star Wars arcade game, it's kind of, it feels strange to say it, but this rip-off is actually a better game. It actually plays a lot smoother. Yes, it misses some of the finishing touches and polish, but it's smooth, the gameplay is fun, it's frantic, and the increase in level difficulty is well balanced between levels. It doesn't suddenly shoot to ridiculous difficulty. I'm going to ignore shooting things and just go for avoiding because my shield is looking low, he says, as he then decides to shoot and hit something. Ah! Don't think I'm going to get through the next one. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Third Death Star, baby. Pop. Bit of shield back into hyperspace to another Death Star. I mean, how many Death Stars did the Empire have? Why didn't they just send the whole lot of them to the Rebel base at once? These questions and more will never be answered. Come on. Ah, no. I'm not going to make it. I probably won't make it to the trench at this rate. No. Oh, I might do. No, I might not. I have 0 shields left now. They think it's all over. It is now. 526,100 points on my first attempt back on this game, and that was as fun as I remembered it from when I was younger. I'm going to be playing on this for a bit longer. Might go on and play Starstrike 2 and see what that was, because I never actually got that back in the past. Anyway, I've not only had to do the one run this time, because that was quite a good run. That should give you a feel as to what this game was like. Let me just mute it, because we've got some blipping going on with some corruption going on for some reason. So that should give you an idea of what the game was like to play. Like I said while I was playing it, it is a better conversion of the arcade game of Star Wars than the official Star Wars one that came a couple of years later actually was. And yet it had no licensing, and with a loading screen by Oliver Frey. I mean, kudos to them for getting Ollie Frey in there, because what an artist, absolute legend. So thank you for watching once again. If you've got any suggestions of what games you'd want me to play, pop them in the suggestions down below, pop them in the comments. I'm happy to draw up a list. I've got a list of about 7 or 8 games so far that I'm going to be working through bit by bit. And if you've got any memories of playing this game, or the Star Wars games in general, fire them in the comments below. Catch you later, guys. Have a good week.